This is CBS News New York.
Right now at 6:30, breaking news. The suspect accused of targeted attacks against Minnesota lawmakers is now in police custody. How authorities tracked him down.
Israel and Iran launching more missiles overnight as tensions rise and the death toll climbs. A new report about Israel's next steps in the war.
Plus, President Trump ordering immigration officers to prioritize deportations in specific cities. We'll break down what this means for New York City. It is Monday, June 16th. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. And let's get you right over to Tony Sadiga when that first alert forecast and the rain. We just keep getting it day after day, Tony.
Yeah, good morning, Mary and Chris. I wish I had better news. It's just been this pattern where it's been tough to shake. So we're still hanging in there as we wait for the pattern to break, and it will. But I know fair to say we've had better weekends, right? Sorry it happened for Father's Day, but we're looking ahead to this coming week, and I think you'll like what's in store. It's still gray, clouds are hanging low. It's mainly dry, though. Let's show you temperatures across the region, and pretty comfortable start. Anywhere from Massapequa, Westport 60, Ossining is 61. You do have some 50s, too, the further north and the further west you go. White House Station checking in about 60. In the city, it's low 60s. I'll show you the radar map just to show you, if you are headed out right now, it's not like you've got the umbrellas in hand, but you maybe have it to go or the rain jacket on. Anything we see today will be pretty light, and I think most of the day is dry, although there could be a midday bump in coverage. So light showers, a little caution as you're getting around this morning. Better rain chance, I think, the coming days, and there could be even some thunderstorms, too. We'll time all that out for you coming up in just a bit. Let's see, though, how long it's going to take to get to where you're going as we time out your morning commute and check in with Guy Stanier. Hey, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. We're going to start with a live look at the George Washington Bridge. About a 20 to 30-minute wait here getting to the span. This is due to an earlier stalled truck. The Lincoln and Holland have just a 5 to 10-minute wait. Path riders can expect delays between Newark and World Trade due to track maintenance at Journal Square. NJ Transit will cross honor fares at Newark. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
6:32 right now into breaking news. No word yet on a motive as police charge the man suspected of killing a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband and wounding another lawmaker and his wife.
The police arrested 57-year-old Vance Bolter overnight, ending a massive, nearly two-day search. Christina Fan joins us here live in studio with more on the investigation. Christina.
Mary and Chris, good morning. Law enforcement say the search to find Vance Bolter was the largest manhunt in Minnesota state history. Governor Tim Walz has assured the public that the state will do everything it can to ensure justice is served. Minnesota police say shooting suspect Vance Luther Bolter was armed when he was surrounded by officers Sunday night, but surrendered without incident.
The suspect crawled to law enforcement teams and was placed under arrest at that point in time.
Brooklyn Park's police chief said a breakthrough came in the search after police found the suspect's abandoned car in rural Sibley County, and an officer believed he may have seen Bolter running into the woods. Multiple law enforcement agencies descended on the area and built a perimeter until they were able to locate the suspect with the assistance of a helicopter and infrared technology. Police say they believe he acted alone.
We will be exploring if there are any broader network. We have not uncovered any of that at this time.
The 57-year-old suspect now faces murder charges in the shooting deaths of Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. A memorial of flowers on the steps of the state capitol has been placed in their honor. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has called the shootings politically motivated.
This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences.
The suspect is also charged with the attempted murder in the shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette. Both are now recovering from their injuries. In a statement last night, the Hoffmans said they are grateful to law enforcement and added they are, quote, incredibly lucky to be alive. Bolter is expected to appear in court this afternoon at 2:30. Authorities say they are also in contact with federal and local law enforcement agencies in other states regarding a potential list of victims that were found in the suspect's car. Mary and Chris.
Christina, thank you. And now to the crisis in the Middle East. Iran and Israel traded missile attacks overnight as talks with the U.S. and Iran's nuclear program were called off.
Eyes are now on the White House watching to see if and when America might get involved in the conflict. Naomi Ruckham joins us from the newsroom with the latest. Naomi.
Mary and Chris, good to be with you. A regime change in Iran could be the result of this conflict, according to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But if the United States will get involved is still a question in many minds this morning. It comes as more missiles rain down on both sides, with some in Israel slipping through the nation's air defense system. Another sleepless night in Israel, with Iran launching a new round of missiles as what some are calling a war between the two enters its fourth day. One hit a residential building in Tel Aviv. Another struck an apartment building nearby, killing at least 4. Nearly 130 people in Iran have been killed in Israeli strikes in the past week, according to the country's health ministry. In the U.S., President Donald Trump has maintained consistent communication with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I think it's time for a deal, and we'll see what happens, but sometimes they have to fight it out. I think there's a good chance there'll be a deal.
According to a new report overnight, President Trump opposed a recent Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. But Netanyahu wouldn't comment on that claim during an interview Sunday on Fox News.
And I'm not going to get into that. We'll do what we need to do. And I think the United States knows what is good for the United States.
President Trump has said if any U.S. armed forces are hit by Iran, America will retaliate with full strength and might. And while many American lawmakers are urging for de-escalation, there is agreement that the fates of the U.S. and Israel are connected.
A nuclear-armed Iran is an unacceptable threat to the world, not just to Israel, but to the United States as well.
According to U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee, one Iranian missile fell near the American consulate in Tel Aviv, causing minor damage. No Americans were injured. The conflict between Israel and Iran is expected to dominate discussions at the G7 summit happening this week in Canada. Mary and Chris?
Naomi Ruckham, thank you. We'll bring you continuing coverage on the crisis in the Middle East on air and online at CBSNewYork.com.
Authorities in India have begun to release the remains of victims from the Air India flight disaster. They're being identified through DNA testing. The London-bound Boeing 787 crashed shortly after takeoff Thursday, killing 241 people on board and at least 29 others on the ground. One passenger survived. Hundreds of the crash victims' relatives have provided DNA samples. A team from the National Transportation Safety Board is aiding in the investigation.
6:38 right now. President Trump has given new orders to ICE. He wants the agency to focus on Democratic-run cities, including New York. Elijah Westbrook is live in Lower Manhattan with the latest. Elijah.
Well, Mary, I can tell you that this latest move comes as the Trump administration wants to ramp up those ICE arrests, targeting around 3,000 arrests a day. That's up from 650 arrests a day when Trump first took office earlier this year. Over the weekend, the president you see right now on your screen posted this here, and I want to read part of it. It says that in order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside, end quote. Now, the orders also follow Saturday's nationwide No King's Day protest in response to the recent immigration raids. Mayor Adams says that the NYPD is in talks with federal authorities for ongoing protests over immigration enforcement, adding that the city has no need for National Guard troops to respond. Well, on Sunday, he discussed the NYPD's role in keeping demonstrations mostly peaceful.
We saw what's best about our city. Our police commissioner and the men and women of the law enforcement community, the job well done. But at the same time, we saw New Yorkers who came out, 50,000 plus, several different marches in the city and in the outer boroughs. They did it in a peaceful way.
Now, we do want to mention that Mayor Adams says 14 people were arrested at demonstrations here in the city. We are told that more protests are scheduled for this week, including one that's currently in the works for this Saturday. We're live right now in Lower Manhattan. Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Elijah, thank you. One victim has been taken to the Harlem Hospital in critical condition following an early morning fire in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx. The FDNY got the call just before 1 a.m. about a fire burning on the 3rd floor of a 6-story building on East 138th Street between Brook and St. Anne Avenues. About 60 firefighters and EMS workers were on the scene.
6:40 right now. The Pacific Palisades evacuation order has finally been lifted 5 months and 9 days after the devastating fire. The LA Fire Department made the announcement yesterday, allowing unrestricted access to the area since January 7th. The Palisades fire tore through the neighborhood in early January, destroying thousands of structures and killing 12 people. This is the latest move toward trying to get things back to normal for residents of the Palisades.
Well, let's get over to meteorologist Tony Sadiku, who is in our virtual studio on this Monday morning. Tony?
Hi, Chris. Summer just days away, and we're still waiting for it to feel like it. I want to show you numbers across the country because this is interesting. Of course, we've been stuck in the 60s all weekend long. Seattle, warmer than we are today. International Falls will be warmer than we are today. Even Buffalo will see near 80 degrees, but here we are, still socked under clouds. 68 feels more like April than June, but you see the warm-up on the way. Just a couple showers today, better rain chance in the coming days. And by the way, we got numbers even warmer than that. We'll talk much more about that, and if you're missing the sun, so am I, when we'll get some brighter skies on the way too in a moment. First, back to Guy we go, and a check on your first load traffic. Hey, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. We're going to start with a live look at the George Washington Bridge. About a 30-minute wait getting across the span. We had an earlier stalled truck on the Cross Bronx. That's the reason for this here. It's only about a 5 to 10-minute wait for the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. And path riders can expect delays between Newark and World Trade due to track maintenance at Journal Square. NJ Transit will cross honor fares at Newark. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
6:42 right now. Coming up, nervous about a fraudulent charge on your credit card? The steps you can take to defend yourself.
The city taking action to help kids this summer, while leaders are pushing for a change at school playgrounds.
Closed captioning on CBS News New York is sponsored